So what has been really the reception to your service in South Korea, and perhaps some of the things that you can actually do to make the service a little bit better and more tailored to cultures like South Korea and Japan?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much here. So I think, first of all, we really focused on those markets to begin with because we thought there was a huge demand for learning English. And I think just stepping back for a second, if we think about the problem we're trying to solve here, I said there's 2 billion people on the planet trying to learn a language. That's a majority of people in both Japan and Korea that are interested in learning languages. And today we've had over 10% of the entire Korean population try and use our product already. And so I think there's like an incredibly wide amount of demand, but the way that we're going to tap that demand is by offering a structurally better product, right? Historically, the only real solutions that worked were tutors, but tutors were expensive and uncomfortable and inconvenient. So the real thing that we're offering is we're using AI to build the best parts of that tutoring experience, but make it available to anyone who wants it at a fraction of the cost. And ultimately, I think when you can have that sort of technological disruption, you can actually grow the market and make it really large. And so that's really the thing that we're providing. I know you're very familiar with the South Korean market, and I think one classic hallmark, just to give one vignette of what we're able to offer, one of the biggest things that's resonated for our product is the fact that a lot of South Koreans are taught to fear making mistakes because of the primary education systems focus on being correct. And a huge part of our marketing efforts and a big part of the resonance of our product is the fact that it's okay to make mistakes with speak. It's not a real tutor. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, and you can really try to speak the language with none of that fear. And I think we're trying to change that narrative, and it's something that I think is one of the favorite parts about the app and why people are finding it to be so much more effective than everything they've tried before.
And on this cultural nuances, and earlier you touched on the pros and cons of a human tutor. So how close are we really to having an AI tutor that really grasps all these, human nuances and complexities, especially when it comes to Asian languages?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I would say that we have almost all of the technological breakthroughs today to make that possible. And now it's our job, and this is the thing that we're fervently trying to do, to continue to actually build that application layer logic to actually make it better than a human tutor in many ways. At the end of the day, we're not trying to replace human tutors, right? But the fact of the matter is there's only one tutor for every 100 people that wants a tutor, and that's an imbalance. So it's really about making that quality accessible to anyone who wants it. And in many cases, we find that the average consumer likes to use our product, but they still like to use tutors as well. And in some ways, we're better than tutors already today. And in other ways, we're never going to be better than tutors. For example, that manifesting that kind of discomfort that comes with looking at another human in the eyes and making mistakes, that's something that people will still want tutors for a long time.
Right. And you've previously talked about, the difference between 90% accuracy and 99.9% accuracy is actually crucial. And I definitely feel that when I use AI tutors for languages. So what do you think is preventing AI now from achieving that full or nearly full accuracy? Is it a matter of having access to the language resources, or is it about how AI is still comprehending the complexities of languages?
Yeah, that's a really important point that I think a lot of people don't really have an understanding of how these models work. In many ways, we've already passed the Turing test, right? 5 years ago, if you had described what we have today, people would say, "Oh, we've created artificial general intelligence. The world's going to be different forever." But that's not happened. Like the world kind of looks the same as it did a year ago or 2 years ago, and I think it's mostly because the models are still not perfectly reliable. And so for us as an application layer, that's like one of the biggest challenges, and that's where we need to build our own engineering excellence and fine tune the models and build a bunch of product experience around it to make it still really valuable and useful and trustworthy for the end user. And there's a million things that we're doing, and that's one of the hard parts of the job. And I think that that's going to continue to get better over time, but there's always going to be error. And if you think about it, we make mistakes all the time as humans too. We misspeak without thinking about it. We might confidently answer a question and we might be wrong. So I don't think it's realistic to expect it to ever get to 100% accuracy either.